Hello and welcome to the new series Agile Aces, Mastering Transformation with Experts, where I'm interviewing some of these experienced and innovative minds in the Agile space. They've been there, done that, and are here to share their incredible journeys, insights, and stories with us. I'm Satyajit Gantayat, your host for today's episode of Agile Aces. In this first episode, I have my friend, my colleague, Ashwinee Kalkura, a SAFe SPCT, a professional coach, and an ICAGL accredited trainer, who also happens to be my trainer and mentor for my SAFe practice consultant class. Hey Ashwini, thanks for joining me. It's good to have you on the show. Can you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your journey?
Yeah, thanks Satyajit. It's nice to be on your Agile Aces, right? So I don't think I am an ace, but happy to be called that way, right? I have over 23 years of experience, started like most of us as a developer, tester, automation, then leadership roles, and finally becoming a Scrum Master and an RT, becoming an individual contributor again, right? From last 6 years, I've been an independent consultant. And as you know, from last 1.5 years, I'm with Agilemania with you all, right? So apart from training and teaching, we have been part of a lot of consulting assignments together as well, transforming the organizations and helping them work in a better and a newer way, if I can call so. Yeah, that's a little bit about me.
That's great, Ashwin. So how did you first get introduced to SAFe? What appealed you about this framework?
Can I tell you the truth?
Yeah.
It was not something which actually attracted me. Rather, one of my friend's friend, he told there is something new, shiny thing, and he didn't say that one, right? So something new coming up in the Agile world called SAFe or the Scaled Agile Framework. This was when was it? 2015, early part of 2015. And then he said, our organization is utilizing that framework. You might want to kind of just check, because he knew I was working as enterprise coach that time, and he said, okay, this might be helpful for you, right? I talked to him. We kind of scheduled a class for leading SAFe. 15 or 16 of us friends, got together and kind of hired someone to deliver us a training, right? So we got trained. That was something new. I was already a CSM. This was leading SAFe or SA was something new. Yeah. After some time, what happened also was, coincidentally, the organization that I was working with, they also started looking at SAFe as a tool for their transformation journey. Yeah. That's where I thought, okay, what's the next step? Again, I went back to my friend and he said, do SPC. It was called a SAFe program consultant then, right? So I waited for an opportunity to get trained by someone who has been part of the framework originally. I got a chance to be in Inbar Oren's class when he happened to be in Bangalore, right? That was 2016, March. So almost 8 years now. I went to the SPC class, and I think that was a turning point. I got inspired by some of the stories that he was talking about, a large organization transforming themselves in a new way of working. I guess being curious about the framework and then talking to him also on how do we become a trainer like you, right? So that was maybe a right question out of the blue I asked, right? I completed my training and got some opportunities, again, by chance, to train over the weekend. My organization also allowed me to train, right? And one interesting small story, one fine day, Naveen Kumar Singh, he calls me and asks me, do you want to become SPCT, right? So I knew what is SPCT by then, right? So then that started all the journey. And I'm here back again with Agilemania as an SPCT, right? So I would say it's a chance encounter, but many a time we don't realize that some of the chance encounters can become a change for yourself. I think, Satyajit, we both have discussed as well in your case also, right?
Yeah,
so that's for some other day, right? So we'll talk about that.
Yeah. That's quite interesting, Ashwinee. Thank you. So, how do you explain the core principles of SAFe to stakeholders or those new to SAFe?
I have a consulting tip here, right? Don't show them the framework. The moment you show the big picture framework, be it even a simple picture like a Scrum, right? It confuses people. They will start kind of concentrating on one area over that, right? I think early in my career, I have done this mistake. Open the SAFe big picture and kind of start explaining, right? Actually takes the concentration at one part and they will start asking certain questions. Now, what I do is I go to the overview tab on the SAFe framework, right? So that talks about customer centricity and the core competencies that are required. Yeah. Even there, talk about customer centricity and the need for that. I think every executive, every person in their right frame of mind definitely agree. Every organization has to be customer centric first. Yeah. Once that is taken, then we know that there are certain competencies needed to achieve that customer centricity. This is where I think the 3+3+1 core competencies in SAFe comes in. 3 on the left side, mostly on the execution part, 3 on the right side, mostly on the strategy part, and lean agile leadership being the foundation. I think that's where any executive will get the gist of it. Yes, there are certain things that I need to do. There are certain things that I need to help the organization embrace that, right? So, and in the first few meetings, I don't even go to the framework. I would rather talk about what's the end goal, what's the North Star for them, what does customer centricity mean for them, and how do we achieve the state of business agility with core competencies. That's where I will focus on. And I truly believe any framework is a means. It's not the end goal, right? So while we might implement SAFe later, Scaled Agile Framework later, that's just a mean for us, right? So that's a tool in our toolbox. I'm not going to take a hammer everywhere. I will have scalpels, I will have hammer, I will also have maybe a bigger machine as well as needed, but utilize that one. But luckily, SAFe also gives you 4 configurations out of the box, from lightweight to heavyweight lifting that we can do.
That's a very interesting analogy. So, how do you define business agility in the context of SAFe? And why is it important in today's fast-paced business environment?
While SAFe talks about business agility as everybody working together, delivering innovative solutions and faster than the competition, right? I look at it as a need for everybody in the organization to come together, because trust me, we won't have every skill needed to survive in the current world, right? I think we have also realized within Agilemania, right? So none of us are, we may be masters in one area, but collectively, if you look at it, we can take care of multiple aspects of consulting and training. While I would love to be that person, who can do it all, but that's not a reality anywhere, right? So, is there a concept or is there a pattern which will help me to give that understanding of how can we collaborate well? How can we work together well? I think this is where business agility comes in. Be it Scrum at a team level, be it SAFe as a organization level, that becomes a tool for you to achieve that business agility, right? So, end of the day, in a nutshell, it's about collaborating together effectively. Again, it looks like a philosophy when we say collaborate together effectively. It also looks like a very nice and easy word, but collaboration has its own nuances. I think, Satyajit, from last 1 hour, we have been trying to connect, right? So, and there are so many things around us keep happening and we have to push, right? But also when there is a training, you and me, we be on time as well, right? So there are certain times where we have to be on the dot, certain times where there is flexibility. How do we orchestrate all these parts, right? So that's business agility for me.
Yeah.
Long answer, but...
So, as you said, ultimately it's about getting the result. Right?
Yes, exactly.
So, what are some key differences between Agile IT and Agile business that you have observed over the years?
I think that's a problem as well, right? So the moment we say like we can start labeling people on IT versus business versus X versus Y, right? I think many of us get it. We call it because we know there is as I said earlier, there is a particular skill set or a domain expertise. We want to be aware of that one. But at the same time, that differentiation many a times brings down the biases as well. I think that's a major problem or a hindrance that I've seen, right? So when you can start behaving and working together as one unit, I think that's where we'll become better, right? So that's a major hindrance I see, that okay, we kind of start labeling ourselves, and again, IT, business, architecture, compliance, this may not work in my domain, right? So those are some of the, what do you say? It's not an issue, but it's a bias that we have. That kind of always comes into the fore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we will talk about the SAFe implementation. Now, how do you measure the effectiveness of your SAFe implementation in terms of business outcomes?
Luckily, SAFe gives you a good guideline in terms of measure and grow, right? So there is a flow-related measurements, there is a outcome-related measurements, and there is a competency-related measurements also. But one thing that we need to realize is, while there is a plethora of articles and plethora of topics that you can cover, what is really important for me, right? So I think, in the last, when I gave the answer, you talked about value to the customer. Do we understand what is the value to the customer? Sometimes it can be as simple as that, I need a faster delivery, right? Or I need a better quality, right? Can we talk to the customer on what does better quality mean for them? Better quality may not mean the best possible, right? So better quality might mean I need something very fast, but with the intended quality also. Do we understand those nuances? And the moment I think we understand those nuances, maybe we'll be able to pick and choose from that 20, 30 odd measurements that I might want to do, pick a few, and again, connect them back to the realization of value also, right? Again, I'm giving heavily worded answers on, okay, we need to do this one, we need to do that one. But the reality is, unless you are talking to the customer, having multiple sessions on really understanding what's a need for them to become agile, and what is the definition of agile for them, right? I think if you don't understand that one, all these metrics becomes a vanity thing, right? So people will showcase X today, X plus 1 tomorrow, and X plus 2 tomorrow, and everything looks nice, but end of the day, customers are not paying the money, right? So that's where I think the need for understanding what is value and select some of the real metrics that can help you showcase that one.
So ultimately, value is what it matters.
Exactly. I keep telling in my classes, the customer doesn't care whether you use Java, .NET, or how much percentage automation, what kind of technology stack, what kind of servers and stuff, right? They have a problem statement, they need a solution. It should be easy, it should be reliable, it should be trustworthy, it should be within the budget they have, and so many other factors, right?
So what are some of the practical tips for building and fostering high-performing agile teams in a SAFe environment?
I think that will apply to any environment, so to say, right? The first is, like Patrick Lencioni says, the trust. Again, trust is a very nice word. We kind of use so many metaphors and X, Y, and Z. For me, trust is about delivering predictably, right? Because in any agile framework, be it Scrum, be it SAFe, be it Kanban, nobody else commits for you. You commit for yourself, right? So there is an understanding that you commit for yourself. Yes, definitely. There are certain times when somebody pushes you for a reason, and sometimes we get pushed also for a reason. It's okay, but end of the day, you are committing. Are we delivering predictably? Are we making sure that we are talking about the hindrances as and when they occur, or as and when they feel for them, right? We are not waiting for the last moment to say that, okay, it's not done, right? I think that initial building of a trust and the bonding between the team, that takes care of everything. If you ask me, that's a one thing that can take care. Again, trust doesn't mean that you either blindly trust or you kind of test them. Rather, it's about we both talk to each other. It's a professional journey. I commit to certain things, you commit to certain things. We both stick to that, what we have called out, right?
Yeah. So, how do you approach coordinating dependency between agile teams within SAFe?
Again, it's about building those systems which will help you collaborate. Every word, I believe this way, in my biased opinion, every word that we use, we are kind of heavily loading them with nice words and very difficult words and stuff, right? So we say collaborate. So we need to collaborate. So, but if you don't provide a system where people can collaborate, it's tough. What does it mean? It might mean the tools for someone, right? It might mean we have the presentations. How do we pick up that presentation? Where is it available? Do everyone in the organization has a common understanding on where are our requirements kept? What are the guidelines for coding, right? Simple things like this and aspects like this. Unless if you build that system which help people to collaborate, right? So it doesn't work out, right? So for me, even the dependency, right? So in fact, everybody wants to do their best. Like Deming said, everybody wants to do their best. The problems are in the system, right? And the leadership and the management's work is to build that system which help people to be themselves, right? I think that's where SAFe also calls out one of the core values of respect for people. Respect for people doesn't just mean that you understand the culture and the nuances and the differences that we have. Rather, it's also about how do we work together? What are the common goals for ourselves? End of the day, we want to reach some destination, right? So what's that destination? Do we have a common clarity and a common idea of how are we empowered to do that? I think, that's where lies the importance of a system, right? Rather than anything else.
Yeah. I think you quoted Edwards Deming, and he had told that, right? People will manage themselves. We just need to manage the system.
Exactly.
Now, you're talking about, system and, collaboration. How do you encourage the business teams beyond IT to adopt agile ways of working?
Again, if you ask me, many a times, we don't talk in their language, right? So when I say language, it's not about English or Hindi, right? But we tend to add more jargons to someone who is already heavily loaded with their own work, right? So you go to them and say sprints, you go to them and say demo, you go to them and say you have to have pair programming. It doesn't make any sense for them, right? So can I talk to them in their language, understand their language? Because say as a change agent, you are a leader or a consultant. As a change agent, your viewpoint or your idea end of the day is to make sure that the organization survives and thrives, right? Nothing more than that. So if you want to do that one, can I understand everyone's perspective? Can I have that emotional intelligence to have that empathy towards them? So if I go to a marketing team, can I learn a little bit about them, what they do on a day-to-day basis? They are about, launching campaigns and getting results for them, right? And if you ask the salespeople to come for a PI planning for 2 days and sit in a room, they are going to be not happy, right? So they have to be on the ground running. And I think invariably people in the sales, they love to be with the customers and be somewhere else and talking to someone, getting some insights, right? So how do we adopt our practices? And I kind of say story writing. Do I need to write a story everywhere? I kind of say, okay, we need to sit and formally review. Do I need to do it formally or informally whenever they are free? Is it good? Or can I include them as a part of their process itself, right? So I think speaking in their language, understanding in their language and adopting for their work, I think that's very important. Yes, they need to know the values and principles behind it. I mean, that kind of becomes a philosophy for them. But can I have the practices and patterns which are tuned to my work? Yeah. Um, if you look at SAFe, I mean, we have HR white paper, we have a white paper for SAP specifically, we have a white paper for marketing, we have some guidelines for hardware teams, we have some guidelines for teams which are heavily loaded with compliance and stuff. Everybody uses the underlying principles, but the practices, if you look, that varies a lot.
Yeah. So, where do you see the biggest untapped opportunities around scaling agility with SAFe?
Yeah, one thing everybody thinks about, and we also do this mistake in our training classes, is all examples are from development background, software specific, right? So developer, tester, I mean, examples start with a developer and a tester, right? As if they are kind of opposing parties, I mean, who are fighting against each other, right? So the biggest untapped one is including everyone. While there are organizations which have kind of included all the part of their teams, like be it marketing, HR, finance, compliance. Again, I'm leaving out 100 other things, right? So untapped potential is for them as well. I mean, if I look at it, and interestingly, some of the advising and training assignments that I'm getting are from non-software companies. I have to make an attempt before going to the class. Okay, what is their work? Understand their work, and make sure that throughout the course I don't talk about coding or testing, right? So somehow I avoid that one, right? So while one or two places, yes, I mean, we can definitely talk about it, came from software industry, but how does it matter to me, right? So can we talk about that? That's where the biggest opportunity for us also lies.
So the business agility with SAFe can be applied to even non-software industries.
Exactly, yeah.
So how are you evolving your implementation of SAFe over time? What's changing?
For me personally, what is changing is the moment I go to a marketing and a sales team, I'll have to leave all my biases outside. The moment I say numbers doesn't mean anything, they will kill me. Numbers mean everything for them, right? It's like this. If I'll just take an example. If I'm selling a car, I have to show the numbers end of the day, right? Last time I sold 20 cars. If I don't sell more than 20 cars, we'll not be profitable. We'll not be having that year-on-year profitability. You can't tell me that we have created an engine which is the best in the world. What will I get? I mean, I'll get an award in a ceremony for the best engine, but it is not making any money, right? I think, over a period of time, I have learned to listen carefully to the leaders from every part of the organization. They have a viewpoint. While that viewpoint may not agree with my bias around agile and what is agility, can I look from their perspective, why they are that, right? Interestingly, I've been also advising some of the startups as a hobby, right? So my friends, who have their startups, the moment I tell some philosophy, they'll tell, I'm burning money and 10 days of money is left. Tell me something useful. If you may not ask me to pay, but my time of this 1 hour costs me this much, right? If I don't get a value of that much in that 1 hour, why should I even talk to you? You might be my friend. Maybe we'll meet in the evening for dinner, but here I'm burning money at this rate, right? So if I don't listen to them, if I don't understand their priority at that point in time and help them with the right thinking, I think we are not doing a good service for them, right? So that's what I would say. End of the day, it's about leaving biases aside when we are having those discussions on what does agility mean for me or them.
That's very profound. Now, can you share your perspective on the future of SAFe and its possible adaptations to emerging trends like AI, automation, generative AI?
We know ABCD, right? From SAFe, AI, big data, cloud, and DevOps, right? I can call that ABCD of it. So SAFe is also Scaled Agile also is making heavy investments on really adding those nuances to the framework, right? One thing I love about Scaled Agile Framework, unabashedly, is about they're always improving. Sometimes I myself feel I get a mail once in a while to do certain things, right? So you have to do this enablement to teach this class. You have to do this enablement to do something X. And as an SPCT, I think as an SPC, you also take whenever there's a small change in the version, you have to go through the entire material once more, right? So I think that mindset of constantly evolving will do good for SAFe. And I have been trained in SAFe 3.0, then 4.0, 5.0, now 6.0, right? I have seen 4 versions. If I look at some of the slides which I have kept from 3.0, right? So it looks entirely different. And we myself will ask a question, this was not right? So for whatever reason, at that point in time, it might have looked right, but today, it might not look right with what is happening in the industry, right? But SAFe has evolved to kind of update some of them, delete some of them, and add some more as well, right? So the knowledge base has improved, and it's going to take us far. And if you look at the articles for AI, big data, and cloud, they're very well researched, and industry veterans are part of it as well, right? So from a traditional things like the stakeholder management to now generative AI, everything is there in SAFe in somewhere or the other. The nuances of that is somewhere there or the other, which will serve us good, right? So SAFe definitely that way has a bright future.
So inspect and adapt is what SAFe does. Right?
Yes, exactly. Drink your own medicine.
So to end, before I end the interview, what advice would you like to give to aspiring Scrum Masters looking to advance their leadership skills in a SAFe environment?
I think it's multifolds. One is nobody is stopping you from experimenting, right? You don't have to tell the entire world that I'm experimenting something myself, right? So you can do it. I think the drive has to come from within. That's the first point. The second point is, look for all the courses that you can subscribe to. I'm not saying, you should come to my class. I will be happy if you come to my class or Satyajit's class. Definitely, yes. But there are tons of material that are available on the internet in terms of the courses, and also learn adjacent areas. I think, we all do this one, right, Satyajit? Because the moment you say coaching, we get interested in what is professional coaching, and we also learn professional coaching. Mm-hmm. The moment we say facilitation, we also learn what is facilitation and kind of see what are the available courses, material, books on that particular aspect, right? So learn those adjacent areas. If you're a Scrum Master, I think you have multiple stanzas of mentoring, teaching, coaching, and facilitating, and many other things, right? So learn those areas very deeply. Yeah. A third thing is have a coach and a mentor for yourself, right? So someone whom you can look up to as a mentor, and someone who will guide you as a coach. And that might be one person or two or multiple person, depending on what you believe is the right thing, right? So somebody who should be a mirror for yourself to become better. Yeah.
I think that's some nice advice and suggestions. Thank you, Ashwinee. Now, before we could end the discussion, we'll play a rapid fire round where I'm going to ask you 10 questions and you have to answer rapidly.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I have to say I'm ready.
All right. Scrum or Scrums or art? Which side are you on?
Art? Don't ask me why, because it's rapid fire. I have told my bias.
So one SAFe epic you wish never existed.
In one of the consulting assignment, it was about including the marketing team. Mm-hmm. Ideally, I wanted them to be part of it without telling. Yeah.
Favorite tool or platform for epic level backlog management?
Google Drive.
Name 3 anti-patterns for scaling Agile.
First one is saying that I know everything. Second one is I don't trust anyone. The third one is, okay, this is a big framework, so it is complex.
That's nice choices. Now, one biggest misconception about Scaled Agile.
That it's a hierarchy.
Yeah, I think most people think about that. Right? Looking at the big picture, they think that there's a lot of people reporting to a lot of people, a lot of hierarchies.
Exactly. They don't realize, it's about the roles and responsibilities, not about...
It's about collaboration, not about reporting. Right?
Yeah.
Safe or less? Pick your side.
Safe, because I don't know less.
Predict the hottest trend in Scaled Agile for next 1 year.
AI, because everywhere that's hot.
Mm-hmm.
Scaled Agile is no different. And I think if you see the posts from Scaled Agile and I think articles and the investment there, I think that's something I can make out. I might be wrong, but that's the answer.
If you could magically add one feature to SAFe, what would it be?
It would be talking a little bit more about leadership.
Mm-hmm.
At every level. It's not just a CEO. At every level, what leadership means.
Yeah. And if you could instantly scale one thing, what would it be?
The technology part of it. It's ever evolving and ever changing. It's a tough thing.
Yeah. We are in the technology world, a digital world.
Yeah.
Also. Favorite Scaled Agile tool you can't live without?
Now I don't know. It's Zoom, I guess. For trainings and my consulting assignments, get onto a Zoom call is the favorite thing. I don't know.
I think most of us, we can't live without it.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's the end of Rapid Round, Ashwinee. So it has been an amazing conversation. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. I think our audience will love it. So I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Satyajit. And I think maybe we'll do it the other way. I'll ask you some more questions the next time.
We'll do it in the next episode.
Yeah.
Thank you, audience, for tuning in, and see you in the next episode of Agile Aces. Thank you.
Thank you.